Hi everyone, and first of all, my apologies for the radio silence and lack of videos in what is now, I think, a month or so. So I just wanted to give you an update as to where I've been and why I've not been uploading any content. So, just a bit of background, and I don't want this to come off too much as woe is me, please pity me. It's more just an explanation for anybody that may have been wondering. If you haven't been wondering, just stop the video, go and find something more interesting to do than listen to me waffle on. But the basics of it. Apologies, I'll explain that in a minute. The background to it, some of you may know that I'm autistic, and I was actually diagnosed late in life, in my late 40s, a few years ago. And this kind of thing, finding out this late, does things to your head and how you look back and reevaluate your life. It also explains a few things why I'm not the fastest racer out there, and I've pointed this out a few times in some of my videos. I know the physics. I work better with real vehicles than I do with pretend ones and sims, because it affects my motor skills on a very low level, but it's enough. Consistency becomes difficult. So, sorry, had to stop for a moment there. Had a minor coughing fit, which is, as I say, I'll come on to talk about in a second. So yeah, it affects my motor skills on a very low level. It's nothing major. Day to day is absolutely fine, but I'm a bit more clumsy than most people, and it affects things like this. So that kind of starts playing heavily with your mental health. I was also made redundant last year from a job I'd held for a very long time, had to find a new job, and that's put a lot of pressures on my time, which has made balancing it with the channel extremely difficult. And then last Christmas, so December, I came down with an incredibly bad cold stroke flu. I don't think it was COVID. All of my lateral flow and PCR tests came back negative, but they could have been false negatives, so I honestly don't know. But it knocked me out for the entirety of the Christmas and the New Year period as well. And that didn't just hit my physical health. I've still got a cough weeks later, a month later, which is really frustrating. So I don't know, it might be long COVID, I've got no idea. I am triple jabbed, and I strongly encourage everybody to get jabbed as well. If you are able to medically, please do. And if you're an anti-vaxxer and what I've just said pisses you off and you want to unsubscribe, couldn't give a shit. There we go. And yeah, as we're saying, it played heavily on my physical health, which tied into my mental health, and I ended up getting diagnosed with severe depression, which again has made restarting the channel and getting back on board a hell of a lot more challenging. So here we are, fast forward to the 24th of January, and I'm finally feeling in the right kind of headspace and physically able to put together another video, and I just wanted to offer a bit of an explanation. What it does mean is, going forward, I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to be able to maintain the regular schedule of the weekly updates. I would love to, but with my physical and mental health and having to hold down a full-time job, it's really difficult to do without it impacting on my family life, and I don't want to do that, to be perfectly honest with you. I would love to be able to do nothing but the sim racing channel stuff full-time, but unfortunately YouTube likes do not pay my mortgage, and I need to hold down a job, and as I say, it's one I've had for less than 6 months now, so that's a real challenge in its own right. So I am still going to do updates, but they're going to be more sporadic. I'm going to try and focus on big updates to titles rather than documenting all of the weekly changes that come out for every single one. I'm obviously going to be looking at Gran Turismo 7, which comes out in a month or so. I'm probably going to talk about Grid Legends, but I'm not at this point convinced I'm going to buy it, because not necessarily that it will be a bad title, but it might not necessarily be the sort of title that primarily drives my interest. And it's a lot of money for what it is, being perfectly honest. And the last Grid was expensive and not exactly feature-packed. So yeah, I'm going to look at retro stuff. I'm going to look back on some of the titles that I've got in my collection that hit far too many titles in my collection, if I'm honest about it. Look back on some of those, see what I still play, what I don't, what's good, what's not, what's changing, that kind of thing. Hopefully it will still be of interest to you guys, and I just want to thank those of you who have remained subscribed to the channel and those who've actually subscribed in the meantime. As I say, if I do get to a point where I'm able to kick off the regular weekly updates again, I will do that, but it's not going to happen in the short term. So yeah, thank you very much for bearing with me. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble on for 6 minutes, and hopefully this is kind of like giving you a bit of an update as to where the channel went and what happened. And yeah, hopefully what I will be able to put up as a first new video will be there is a UI update coming to rFactor 2, which is long overdue. Every single UI it's had so far has been bloody awful. The last one was better than the original, but it's still bad. And hopefully it will also improve the time it takes to get into the actual game and do something about the annoyance of updates in rFactor 2. So yeah, that's me. Thanks very much for listening, and if you're interested, please do carry on following the channel. Thanks very much for your time. Take care, everyone. Bye.